Hi, I'm Jennifer Tucci with the Broward MPO. We are here at the 2026 Safe Road Summit. I'm very excited about our guest today. She is the chair of the Palm Beach MPO. Yvette, take it away.
Hi, thanks Jennifer. Hi, my name is Yvette Drucker. I'm a City of Boca Raton councilwoman, and I'm also, as Jennifer mentioned, I'm the Palm Beach County MPO chair for 2025-2026.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. I know that we chat a little bit and the term transit nerd came up and I really was excited about that.
So I'm a professed transit nerd on the council and throughout the community, or a transit champion, but I really am a professed transit nerd. I ran for office in 2021. I did not have a transportation background. I had a corporate background in payroll and human resources, out of all things. And then I had a nonprofit background. But when I arrived on the city council, when I got elected in March of 2021, I was appointed to then the TPA, now the MPO, and I became a transit nerd. I learned everything about transportation, infrastructure, funding, policy making, etc. And just something that everyone needs. Public safety is really important to me. As an elected official, it's important to keep our people safe, especially our families. And keeping our families with the theme of the MPO this year, moving families forward, is dear and near to my heart. So that's kind of a little bit of the background.
So you mentioned about policy.
Yes.
And policy is wildly important, especially when we are trying to make improvements for our areas in transit. Would you like to tell us what's going on?
So when I joined the council, there wasn't a lot of policy around any of the transportation realms. So in order to receive some of the funding that's available through the federal government, you have to have a policy in place. So quickly I realized that the policy would equate to funding, which will go to planning, and then you could have implementation funds. So in 2021, I started the education on the council to educate the members of the council that this wouldn't have a fiscal impact, that this would get us money, and then we would have matches, and then we would be able to implement the infrastructure changes. So quickly, we adopted Vision Zero. So we are one of the 14 cities in the county that has a Vision Zero policy. And that landed us with our first Safe Streets for All grant in the amount of $300,000, which we used for our Vision Zero action plan. Mm-hmm. Then after that, I started working on our Complete Street policy. And we're top 10 in the country when it comes to Complete Street policy. We were awarded that title last year. Once we did that, we got our second grant. So now we've received the first grant, we've received 2 additional grants, and we've received the highest award of grants at $7.3 million, including our match in the state of Florida. So that's been an incredible journey to get there.
Congratulations.
With that, we rebranded our Public Works Department to include a Director of Transportation and Mobility, because we knew that we needed a position that would handle all of these grants, that would handle all the planning and implementation phases of the infrastructure. And we've already put in one, interfacing protected bike lane in one of our busiest intersections. So we're already seeing some of this policy impacting planning, impacting implementation. So it's been a real nice thing to see in the city.
You mentioned the connecting it all back to families.
Correct.
The SRS this year is one of the focuses, moving families forward. How is Palm Beach County or in Boca moving families forward?
We all start as pedestrians when we go into our cars or to whatever other multimodal option we have. But in Boca, we're very fortunate that we have 2 rail systems. So we have our own station in Boca Raton for Brightline, which is obviously the fast rail, the fast private rail. And we also have our Tri-Rail, which is our commuter rail, which we also have in the west part of the city, which is really benefiting the families. A lot of students take Tri-Rail, a lot of working families are on Tri-Rail, and they use it for all sorts of things, whether it's education, working, going to our elderly community to go to a doctor's appointment. And we also have an executive airport that has U.S. Customs for our business providers. We have 42 headquarters, mainly around technology and healthcare in the city of Boca Raton. So having all of those different types of multimodal options really makes us a good candidate as to why it was so important to have that policy to implement the infrastructure to keep people safe, whether you were walking, riding your bike, using a scooter, taking a plane or taking the rail, basically.
I mean, absolutely fantastic of the all modes of transportation.
All modes of transportation.
Which I think you also mentioned of one of the colleges or a Verta of.
So we have a couple of things on the innovation side of the city because I pride myself with the innovation. I'll tell you a little trivia. One of the things in the city is that we're the only city in the county. So we have 39 cities in the county, 1.6 million residents. It's one of the largest counties, or is the largest county in the state of Florida. But we own our own traffic lights. So by owning our own traffic lights, we're able to manage traffic. We have adaptive signal systems. We have grants for other through our MPO and through other entities to adapt that. So we operate all of our lights. So that's really, really important. We're the only one in the entire county, but it's very good for getting people moving around effectively and efficiently. So that's on the innovation side. We also have our last mile through our partners at Circuit. Then we started through our partners at Guidant, which are headquartered at BRIC. A little trivia, BRIC stands for Boca Raton Innovation and Technology Center, but the first IBM was built in Boca Raton. So it was built on the BRIC site. That was the first IBM was built there. So you can do the research, but it is there. I'm also a professed history nerd. So in any event, there's a company there by the name of Guidant, does autonomous vehicles. So we just entered a pilot with them in downtown Boca, in our downtown, for an autonomous vehicle moving people around. Again, another option. And then the last, we passed an ordinance about 6 months ago through my direction on vertiports. So the wave of the future. And there's been some interest in piloting a program out of FAU, Florida Atlantic University, Go Owls. So we're excited about that as well. So just a lot of innovation, a lot of ways to look at ways of moving people just, again, effectively, efficiently, and consistently, really, so that we don't have gridlock with the growth that we're experiencing, not only in the city of Boca Raton, but throughout the county. And obviously people coming through our county, right? I always say roads are for everyone. Your roads are my roads, are your roads. We all have to get two roads to get to places, or rail, for example. So,
wow, that's really incredible. You guys are doing some amazing things.
We're excited.
What is one thing that you would like to share with everyone? If you could share one message.
As an elected official, our job is to be the architects of policy. That is why we were elected. We were elected to govern. That's a governance arm of your city. If you put in good policy, it'll be very good for the public safety of your community. Once you have the policy, you can apply for federal grants, local grants. You'll be able to get funding, and you'll be able to plan and implement infrastructure that will save lives. And when I got on the MPO, that was my first takeaway. I didn't have a transportation background. And what I realized quickly was, as a public official, my job is every day to protect people, keep people safe through our fire, through our police, paramedics, but also roads, public safety, good drinking water, good sewer system, safety at the beaches, our lifeguards. So it is part of the public safety, includes the roads. So again, and even the rural little cities that think they don't have enough bandwidth because they're just rural, they should still be able to pass policy to protect their citizens.
Absolutely. And I also recall you said that since you've come into these roles, you are sitting on as many transportation committees as you can.
I sit on, I'm on Florida League of Cities of Transportation Infrastructure. I sit on National League of Cities, which awards me a different platform. I can see what other cities are doing throughout the country. I'm also sitting, obviously, as the MPO chair. I sit on CEFTEC as a vice chair, which is a tri-county, and I also sit on the MPOAC for the state. And it's great to see what other areas are doing, not only nationally, but Florida, county, other counties, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been a real joy to be able to participate in this forum.
So history nerd, you say?
I am a little bit of a history nerd.
That's fantastic. I am myself as well. It's a deep passion of mine, so it's always interesting, especially with
and rail has a lot of history of transportation. Flagler, let's not forget the reason that they came here was because of the circus, right? The circus was really the first business that used a lot of the rail system besides the people that were coming in here to tour. So if you ever get up to Flagler Museum, it's a great little treasure museum for transit nerds like
Fantastic.
ourselves. I'll just include you in
Yes.
that as well.
Yes, I will put that on my list because there's plenty of museums that I'd love to visit.
That is where the Bright Line runs, on that Flagler rail of 100 years ago.
Thank you so much, Yvette. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy the summit and look forward to speaking with you again at some point in the future.
Likewise. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you guys for joining us.